Welcome to this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Kerim Marashi.
And I'm Kyle Holleman. Today's guest is Brandon Foshee. He's a senior history major here at Southern Arkansas University, and with him as a special guest is his guide dog, Salsa. It's nice to have you here, Brandon.
Thanks for having me.
My first question I wanted to ask you is, what were the circumstances that led to your blindness?
I had swelling on my optic nerves, which caused them to rupture, and the scar tissue left is blocking the signal from getting sent to my brain. They don't know what caused the swelling.
Okay. So there was no diagnosis or any name to put to it?
Yeah, they call it bilateral optic neuritis, but they don't know what caused it.
Okay.
So, with the scar tissue, does that mean if they go in and remove the scar tissue, you'll be able to see clearly again, or how is that?
Well, no, they can't just go in and take it out. It doesn't work like that. I wish it did, though.
Okay, Brandon. Take us through a typical day in your life, here at school, or getting up in the morning, coming to school, and other activities you may participate in.
Okay, typical day, I just get up and get ready for school, eat breakfast, come to town and go to my classes and walk back and forth between school and my parents' house to, lunch and all that, and go home and feed all my animals and then feed myself, watch a little TV. It's a normal day.
Well, I have you in class, and you and Sasha are really great, and Sasha is a very quiet dog. Tell me, how long have you had Salsa, and how old is she?
She is 3, and I've had her for a little over a year now.
Now, what are her responsibilities besides being a guide?
Oh, that's it. That's her full-time job.
Now, you have other animals, you said. I'm guessing you probably have a couple horses also. Would you tell us about these friends of yours?
Let's see. I've got a quarter horse named Dixie that is pregnant right now.
Okay.
And got a miniature stud named Appleman. And my girlfriend's got a little Appaloosa named Dot.
Oh, Appaloosas are very beautiful. Does she compete with Appaloosa, or is it just for pleasure riding?
Just for riding.
Now your major is history. Now tell us, do you have a minor, and if so, what is it?
Political science.
So what do you plan on doing? You're a senior, so what do you plan on doing after you graduate SAU?
I'd like to go ahead and get a master's in history and teach history.
Okay.
Now, this you say you wake up and you come to school, then you after you leave school, you go about your day. What is your typical school day like? You come to campus, and what are some of the courses that you're taking, and how do you go through that?
Well, I start every day with Dr. Babbitt for research methods and American government. And let's see, I've got Dr. Keller for Eastern thought and Middle East history, and Miss Paulson for European history. And that's all my classes.
So tell us, since you lost your sight, I can see that you need assistance getting in and around campus. Tell us, how has SAU helped you with your blindness and helping you in the class or outside the class? How has the faculty, staff, and students been helpful toward you?
Okay. In the Reynolds building, there's counseling and testing, and Miss Woods over there has been real helpful. Her staff reads my test for me, and that way, you know, they read the question, I tell them the answer, and they write it down. They also find a note taker for me in each class to, you know, write down what the teacher writes on the board and stuff like that, and they'll read their notes on the tape for me.
Okay. Now you're back. Now you said you came in '99. You were telling us you came in '99, but you took a couple of years off. Was it due to the blindness happening, or?
Well, the first year I took off, I went to real estate school in Florida.
Okay, that's good.
And then came back, and then the second year I took off was because I had lost my sight, and I went to Lions World School for the Blind in Little Rock, get some training there for a couple months. So.
Now, what are your influences? Who influenced you the most to exceed and do your best?
Just everybody around me, I guess, all my friends and family and stuff.
Now, when you went to the Lions School, what things did you did they go over that seemed to be kind of, I guess, trivial to begin with when you had your sight, but now are pretty important? What are some of those things?
Well, I'm not sure I understand your question.
Certain actions throughout the day, your normal everyday actions. Like before I go outside, I look to check to see what the weather is. That way I know what I wear and what errands I run that day. What's your day like? Different from when you had sight?
Well, I still, you know, check the weather and all that. See, I guess one thing different is picking out my clothes. I'm not always for sure that I'm matching. I have to ask, you know, what color this is or something like that sometimes. So I guess that's one thing that's different. And
Now, not many people don't have many questions to ask about people in blindness. What are some things you would like people to know about you and being blind that they may not know?
Unless I see you all the time and talk to you all the time, I'm probably not going to be able to recognize your voice. So you see me and say hello, you know, you might mention who you are.
Okay.
So I'm guessing quite a few people do say hi to you. They're pretty easy to recognize.
Yeah, it happens all day, every day. I'll, you know, run into people and they just say, hey, you know, and I say hey back, but most of the time I don't know who they are.
Now, are you able to catch a professor's voice when they say hi?
Yeah.
That one you pay extra close attention to.
Yeah, well, when you have to sit through their lectures all day, every day, you get used to their voice.
Now, is your social life still active since you've lost your sight?
I'd say so.
And what activities do you like to do, mainly when you're in your spare time?
Oh, depending on what season it is, hunting and fishing, riding horses, that kind of stuff.
So which of your horses do you like to ride the most? Is there one that you've, it's just...
Dixie's mine, and I just ride her. I don't ride the miniature stud, and the Appaloosa is my girlfriend, so.
How small is that miniature stud?
If he stands up on his back legs, he's a little taller than I am. I'd say probably 6 foot or so.
Wow.
Do you do anything different now that you're blind? Or are there things that you can't do that you used to do?
Well, yeah, I have to catch rides now.
Yeah.
See, I used to, you couldn't get me to read a book for anything.
Okay.
And now I enjoy, you know, listening to books on tape and stuff. So.
Right.
Have you ever thought about directly recording your class lectures instead of having note takers?
Yeah, I've tried that. The recording the whole class is not very efficient.
Okay.
Because, you know, after you go to the class 15 hours a week and then try to listen to 15 hours a week again, I mean, it's not very efficient.
Are there any programs or any assistance that's helping you do your schoolwork besides note takers or anything electronic or on computer or something like that?
The JAWS program for the computer
Okay.
is a help. It's designed to read the computer screen to you, and you know, that way I know what it says and all. So that's a big help.
Now, in research methods, it's not just lecture, is it? If it's like the research methods I had, the professor gives you an assignment where you have to actually delve into the books and find information. How do you go about that? Does somebody go with you in the library, or what occurs?
Yeah. So far, that's what I've done. Is just, you know, had somebody with me, and, you know, kind of do it as a team effort.
What made you want to? So you've been in how long have you been in Magnolia?
I moved here summer going into second grade.
Hey, did you plan on attending SAU after you graduated, or did you want to go to a big university in Arkansas or somewhere else?
No, I planned on going to SAU.
Where did you move here from?
Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Oh, how do you find Magnolia? Does it fit in with the life that you like, or is there anything that you would change about Magnolia?
It fits in okay.
Now I hear that when whether a person ends up blind or deaf, that their senses become heightened. Has that happened to you, or any supernatural? Can you hear better? Does your smell? Has your smells intensified? You know, or is it nothing really has changed?
Yes, I've got superhero senses. No, you just learn to pay attention to your other senses a lot more.
Okay. Have you gradually accepted your blindness? And is it more difficult? Is it less difficult than it was when you first lost your sight?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, and how? What have you noticed that has become not as difficult for you since you lost your sight?
Something not as difficult. I don't know.
Okay, well, another question I would like to know, if there was a way to get your sight back, would you want your sight back? Why or why not?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes, I would.
And,
well, one thing, I wouldn't have to bum rides anymore. No, just that I miss having that, you know, ability to do all the things that I used to do without, you know.
yeah.
Now, I hear you're a fan of the History Channel, and right now you just can't get enough of history. When you hear these programs that they come on, when they talk about selected events in history, such as the falling of Constantinople or World War II, what pictures do you get in your mind about the narration as it's going on?
Well, since I've seen the stuff before on there, I guess I just think of stuff I've already seen.
Do you also picture other people when you're talking to some old friends? But what happens when you talk to new friends? What happens to talk to people that you haven't seen before? Do you get any mental images, or is it?
Normally, I just kind of relate them to somebody I might have remember seeing before, and something like that. Try to guess what they look like.
Now, Brandon, a lot of people who meet someone with a disability, they tend to feel sorry for them. Now, has that happened in your case since you've been blind?
I think so. I think so.
Now, someone like me, would you tell me to avoid that? Do you think is that a weakness for you, or is it just because that people may not understand that you can still do things? How do you tell people that who may think you're can't do nothing, but you can? How do you relate that to them, that you're strong and able-bodied?
I just try to let them see me do stuff, I guess.
So what is a typical day for Salsa? What does she do? How does she go about her day?
Sleep about 23 hours a day.
Oh, I wish I were Salsa.
Yeah, that's her
Don't we
typical
all?
day. We go to class, as soon as the teacher starts talking, she's snoring, she's out.
And how has Salsa acted in class with everybody there? How has she been? Is she a mild-mannered dog? I should say.
Yeah, when she has her harness on, she knows she's
Okay.
working, and she, for the most part, behaves.
Notice that she took quite a liking to one of our professors here, Rupert. Does she always have such a wonderful personality around your professors, or is she just acting for bonus points for you?
Anytime anybody gives her attention, she's all about that. So.
Now, explain to us, she is wearing the I'm working, do not pet. Explain to people why they should not pet her.
Well, it's important because, well, she's trained to, listen to me, and I'd tell her to, go left or go right.
Yeah.
She's supposed to, do that and follow the path that we're on. And she sees somebody that, looks like they're going to pet her. If she goes over to them, then she's liable to walk up to them and take me off the path that we're on and get me turned around and all that. So
in other words, do not pet her unless, free time.
yeah.
Another thing to you taking being blind rather well than some. If you met someone who was blind or had another disability and they may not be doing so well, how would you encourage them, or what would you say to lift their spirit?
Well, I like to quote Joe Dirt.
Okay.
Tell them that they just got to keep on keeping on. Life's a garden, dig it.
And I noticed that you have a good sense of humor, so how has that helped you in your daily life?
Oh, it's just, I don't know. I think it helps everybody.
Now, that Joe Dirt quote, that doesn't come from somebody who gets it secondhand. You were in the theater for that one. What other movies do you like to go to? I mean, being blind doesn't cut down on your entertainment, does it?
No. I mean, yeah, I miss some things, but most of the time if I'm watching TV or a movie or something, I'm normally watching it with somebody that, if something happens and they laugh and I don't know what happened, I'll ask,
I know little kids are very inquisitive. What do you tell, or have you ran into the situation where children may ask you, what have you told them about your blindness?
Well, I'll tell them, that I can't see, and
Okay.
they, for the most part, they don't understand.
Okay.
Do you have many kids that are still very curious about that? And what, when you taught them, when you answer their questions that they ask, do you feel that you're teaching them more by example than they can learn from, let's say, TV, or hearing it from their adults that some people are blind, they just do things differently? Which way do you feel? Is it better that children see you and meet you and see how you go about things, or how do you think people should learn about it?
Yeah, I think it's better for them to see.
Do you plan on having kids in the future, and if so, if they ask you, how would you explain that to them? You know, that.
Well, I think I'll probably have kids, hopefully not in the near future. But, yeah, I don't know. I'll just see how it goes.
What other things do you want to do in the future? Like, let's say you wanted to get a master's. Where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
I think I'd like to be teaching American history, small university, northern Arkansas maybe.
So how'd you pick northern Arkansas for that?
Well, I just kind of like it up there.
Now, yeah. Do you have any plans on traveling? Where would you, if there's one place you could go, where would you like to go and see?
Well, that's a hard question. I'd like to see everything.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Now, this American history professor, certain professors, their specialty is kind of very specific areas. For example, you have Professor Keller, you said, this semester. He's pretty big on Asian culture. What part of American history do you prefer, among others?
Well, American history is not that long, so pretty much you do all or nothing. I don't know. I really just like it all. That's my favorite. I like early civilizations as well, but American and European histories are my favorite.
Well, let's see. Now, you love European civilizations, American history. You love movies, and there's pretty much nothing that you've done before you got blind that you don't do now. What ways do you feel SAU has been a benefit to you as a blind person?
Well, I feel that it's educating me a little bit. That's always a plus.
Yeah. And just before, one quick question just before we go, what can people take from a person who is blind? What is the one thing that people should learn about someone who is blind or handicapped?
Well, I really don't know. I guess just, I don't know.
Well, Brandon, thank you for being our guest today. This has been the SAU Report. I'm Kerim Marashi.
And I'm Kyle Holleman. Thanks for watching.